wants to be a flamingo. Written by Andrea Hyatt. Sophie and Sullivan perched on their favourite branch. They had met at early bird summer camp. Wash and fly, chirping in Spanish, avoiding cats, paint with feathers, tweeting in French, flying for beginners, nest building, soaring class, make and take birdseed granola. If you could be any bird in the world, what would you be? Asked Sullivan. That's an easy question, replied Sophie. I would be a beautiful flamingo named Pinky. I would have a long, graceful neck and feathers the color of pink cotton candy. I would be a strong American bald eagle, known as Super Eagle, with a red cape and a wingspan of 6 feet, said Sullivan. Tick tock, chirp, 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 tweeted Sullivan's mom. Got to go. 3 chirps in a row mean it's time for dinner, and I can't be late. Only the early bird gets the worm, winked Sullivan. And then he added, See ya later, Pinky. Sophie giggled. See ya round, Super Eagle. Sweet dreams. That night, Sophie dreamed of being a flamingo. Sophie was at the Sunny Shores Cafe, eating a delicious shrimp ice cream sundae. Chirp, tweet. Suddenly, her dream was interrupted by loud, chirping birds. It couldn't be morning already. Why did they always get up so early? Sophie's mom, aunt, and grandma were talking about the new young blue jay, Miss Sapphire, who moved into the penthouse suite in the tall oak on Maple Lane. I heard her nest has all the fancy upgrades, said Sophie's mom. I heard her feathers are fake, said Sophie's aunt. I heard she has magical powers. If so, maybe she can give me some younger wings so I can shake my tail feathers at the dance this Saturday, said Sophie's grandma. When Sophie heard magical powers, her feathers started to ruffle. I must find Miss Sapphire and see if she will turn me into a flamingo. Sophie found the tall oak on Maple Lane. Holy feathers! I'm going to have to fly very high, exclaimed Sophie. She was happy she took the soaring class at summer camp. Breathless, Sophie finally reached the penthouse penthouse. Miss Sapphire was lounging in her fancy nest. Her feathers were a brilliant blue and didn't look fake. Hello, Miss Sapphire. I'm Sophie Sparrow. Good afternoon, Sophie. What brings you to my lovely nest? Asked Miss Sapphire. I heard you had magical powers, and I was hoping you could turn me into a beautiful flamingo named Pinky, said Sophie. Miss Sapphire looked surprised. Why do you want to be a flamingo? Look at me. I have short legs, no neck, ugly brown feathers, and all I ever eat are worms. Flamingos are fancy, look stunning in pink, can balance on one leg, and eat delicious shrimp. All right, I will turn you into a flamingo. However, the magic ends when you say, I want to be a sparrow again. Sophie wrapped her wings around Miss Sapphire. Thank you so much. Miss Sapphire gave Sophie a pretty pink feather. Hold the feather and say the magic words 3 times. Bingo, lingo, bringo. I want to be a flamingo. Sophie followed Miss Sapphire's directions. Poof! Sophie disappeared instantly into a cloud of pink smoke. Sophie looked around in amazement. She saw majestic palm trees, a sandy beach, and the never-ending ocean. Hello, Pinky. Sophie stood next to a gorgeous flamingo. When Sophie looked down, she had long legs and pretty pink feathers. Miss Sapphire's magic spell worked. She was Pinky, the flamingo. You're acting like I'm a stranger. It's me, your friend, Felicity, said the flamingo. I'm sorry, Felicity. My morning's been a little crazy, said Pinky. Let's get some tasty shrimp for lunch, said Felicity. Pinky couldn't wait to taste shrimp. Sounds great, said Pinky. Pinky looked at the little shrimp on her plate and took a bite. It was terrible. Yuck! Yum! Let's practice our yoga poses on the beach, said Felicity. Pinky followed Felicity to the beach and watched her closely. Felicity lifted one leg and balanced herself on the other leg. Pinky tried, but she lost her balance. It's more fun to perch on my favorite branch with Sullivan than to balance on one leg, thought Pinky. Ta-da!
Oh dear.
Felicity looked at Pinky and said, Let's cool off in the new lagoon. Sounds like fun. said Pinky. Pinky followed Felicity into the water. She was grateful for her long legs. The bird baths she and Sullivan liked to visit were not as deep. Pinky and Felicity tossed the beach ball back and forth. "Get out of the water now!" screeched the parrot. Pinky and Felicity looked around frantically. They spied two bulging eyes looming above the water. And then the creature opened his big jaws. They saw his giant, sharp teeth. It was a crocodile. Felicity quickly made it to the shore. Pinky was terrified and screamed, "I want to be a sparrow again!" Poof! In a cloud of brown smoke, Sophie appeared. A pink feather floated down from the sky. It landed softly in her cozy nest. Sophie looked at the pretty feather and thought she would keep it as a reminder for when she wished for a different life. This happy thought was interrupted by her grandma's chirping. "There's my sweet sparrow baby girl. I bought something special for you at the new bird seed bakery," said Sophie's grandma. Sophie looked at the worm dipped in chocolate and covered with rainbow sprinkles. Sophie gave her grandma a peck on the cheek. "Thanks, Grandma. I think I'll share it with Sullivan." Sophie met Sullivan at their favorite bird bath. "This is the best worm ever," said Sullivan. Chocolate worms with rainbow sprinkles were so much better than shrimp, thought Sophie. "There is a rumor going around that Miss Sapphire has magical powers. Maybe she could turn me into an American bald eagle," said Sullivan. "American bald eagles are cool birds, but I think you are pretty special just the way you are. I wouldn't change a thing," said Sophie. Sullivan blushed and splashed Sophie with the warm water. She giggled and splashed him back. "I'm a sparrow, and that tickles me pink," thought Sophie. "There's that pesky cat. It could be worse." Oh, hey friends! It's so great to see you! I've just finished my first ever flying lesson. It was so much fun! Now, it's time to put the theories I've learned into practice. Do you want to watch me fly like a bird? Yes! Okay, here we go! Holy feathers! Karen, are you okay? That was quite the fall. I'm okay. Just a bit sad. I really wanted to be able to fly. Should we tell her? Karen, only animals that have wings can fly. I don't think it's possible for humans to fly, no matter how hard you try. Sullivan's right. Humans can't fly by themselves, but they can fly when they ride on those big things that look like giant seagulls. You mean a plane? Yes, that's right, a plane. Or those massive balloons with baskets. You mean a hot air balloon? Yes, that's it, a hot air balloon.
I don't want to be a human anymore. I want to be a sparrow just like you guys. I heard the other birds in the nest building tent talking. They said that if you say these magic words, then you can turn into the animal of your dreams. And I really want to be a sparrow. Now, what were those magic words? Oh, yes! Bingo, Lingo, Ringo!
You don't want to do that, Karen. You are perfect just the way you are. You already are who you're meant to be. Just think of all the things you love the most in your life. Could you do those things if you were a bird?
Well, it would be hard to play the piano without my fingers. And I like doing my favorite hairstyle, which would be difficult to do with feathers. And I love to sleep and dream. Sometimes I fall into a really deep sleep. I toss and I turn and I fall out of bed. If I lived in a nest really high up in a tree, that would really hurt. You know, I think you're right. Being a human is what's perfect for me. I don't want to change anymore. I love my life exactly how it is.
It's normal to have days when you feel like you want to change who you are. But when that happens, try and remember all the things that make you special. And be thankful for the way your body helps you do all the things you love. That's right. We were all made the way we are for a reason.
I learned a really important life lesson today. You guys are the best teachers.
You're very welcome, Karen. I'm so happy I learned that lesson too. It's a shame you had to learn it the hard way and almost got eaten by a crocodile. Let's not talk about the logistics. We should pitch our own tent at next year's summer camp. Life lessons from Sophie and Sullivan. Ooh, what a great idea!
Sign me up! I'll bring my friends too. Wouldn't that be fun, boys and girls?
Yes!
Until next time, friends, always remember, you are perfect just the way you are. See you soon.
Bye!